We are now joined with Todd Berry, the head coach of ULM. If you have a question for Coach Berry, please dial *1 on your phone at this time. Coach, while we're waiting for questions to get in the queue, do you mind starting us off with an opening statement?
Yeah, the Grambling game was, it's a good win for us. We got to do an awful lot of things that allowed us to play. A lot of players look at a lot of different schemes in relation to offense, defense, and the special teams. And so along those lines, it's good to have one of those games kind of open up early in the year so you get some exposures for your young players and get a chance to look at some things. And so we were able to do all that.
Thank you very much. Our first questions come from Dusty Thibodeau with the WarhawkReport.com. Dusty, please go ahead.
Morning, Coach. How you doing?
I'm doing fine, Dusty.
Coach, I know after the Oklahoma game, the team was really kind of beat up. Yesterday at practice, was there a little bit more swagger, a little bit more happiness, so to say, going around?
Yeah, I think so, but I think our players kind of had some expectation going into the game. I think that we're a healthier football team right now than we've been in a while, which is nice because some of the bumps and bruises coming out of preseason camp, along with some of the bumps and bruises out of the Oklahoma game, weren't quite as healthy probably going into this last game as probably what I would have liked to have been. I think we're a lot healthier right now coming out of this game.
A few changes there on the depth chart, most notably there, kind of that linebacker with Cody Robinson coming back. Do you anticipate him, even though he's at that number 2 slot, getting some play time this week at Wake Forest?
I do. Cody was a starter going into the season and had the weight room injury right before the Oklahoma game, and he's back without any reservations, and so consequently, I do. We'll let the thing kind of battle out this week in terms of who's going to end up being the start, who's going to get the start between he and Mike Johnson. I do believe that there's going to be that Cody's going to play and get significant play time.
All right. Thank you, Coach.
You bet.
Thank you, Dusty. Our next questions come from Monroe, Louisiana. I believe this is Tabby Sonia. Tabby, please go ahead.
Hi, Coach. It's Tabby.
Hi, Tabby.
How are you?
I'm good, thanks.
Good. We're just going to make this the Monroe show this morning with me and Dusty. I just want to talk a little bit more about your defense. Talking to guys like Ray Stovall and Cameron Blake last week going into the Grambling game, they talk about really hanging their hat on trying to hold a team to less than 100 yards rushing. And I know that teams before them have said the same thing. After the past 2 weeks of having, opponents rush for more than 100 yards, and going up against Wake Forest, who's predominantly an option-type team, what is really sort of the focus on trying to stop that running game first? Because I know that's a lot of the mentality in that type of scheme.
There's no question we want to stop the run. I think that probably the first part was Oklahoma coming out in the pistol, which we weren't expecting, and that created some problems for us in that ball game. And this last ball game, we were taking a look at a lot of different things, and that's kind of what's good about those kind of games. And so we played a lot of zone coverages and things that we want to be able to try to mix into things, but we want to get extensive looks at it. And I think it has an awful lot more to do with just kind of the schemes and kind of what we were calling it, rather than so much any kind of issues with kind of our run defense. I think we know what we want to do to stop things. The reality is, too, we need to work on some other stuff, too, and that's kind of what was great about the Grambling game, is it gave us an opportunity to work on both sides of the ball on a lot of different things, and we were able to get a lot of really good work in, a lot of good tape on some stuff in terms of fits, and so obviously this week the option stuff creates problems for you, but it also creates some different looks, some different schemes from us.
Yeah, sure. And one thing that's in reflection, you talked about the depth chart a little bit and Cody coming back and being the number 2 linebacker, but you're able to switch so many guys in and out this year, probably more so than ever, and I know that's because of the depth, but how refreshing is it to have some guys go in and have fresh legs and kind of get some guys some breathers so that they can execute what they call, especially in such a high-paced defense?
Yeah, I think that you're absolutely right. I think that we do have a little bit more depth, and we're a lot more comfortable playing guys. And we've cross-trained so many guys that guys can show up at different positions, and we did an awful lot of that in the ball game here the other day, to where offensively and defensively both, to where we played some guys at some positions they don't normally play just so they could get some work on it. But we also came out of the game, like as mentioned, pretty healthy, pretty refreshed. Found some other guys that I think can play at a high level for us, and so again, that's what's great about those kind of games. It gives you the opportunity to really get, instead of guessing, you have a real good opportunity to really look at things.
All right. Thank you so much for your time, Coach. See you tomorrow.
Thanks, Tabby.
Thank you, Tabby, and thank you, Coach. That's all the questions we have for you in the cube, and thank you for joining us today.
Thanks, Coach.
Everyone can stand by. We'll have Joey Jones of South Alabama on shortly. Please stand by.